Hello and welcome to class activity 17. So today we are going to practice PowerShell. PowerShell is the utility that allows you to use command line interface to create users, groups, and organizational units and so on. So it's a very powerful utility, and in your document, you have a lot of commands that I put in there for you, the most common commands that you would use to create organizational units and users and groups and so on, and how to manage them and maintain them. Why would you want to use PowerShell instead of use the GUI version? Well, if you can save a lot of memory when you don't have to load up um, the server manager and everything else, and you can create scripts and you can do everything that the GUI version can do plus more. So it's a very powerful utilities, and in fact you have more control over your server, and it saves resources, memory, and CPU power. All right, so let's get started. Open up your class activity number 17, go down to the bottom where we start practicing. Boot up the domain controller and log in. Don't forget the password is I love server 2022 with capital I and capital S for server. All right, so to open up the PowerShell, just click on the start menu, and we need the Windows PowerShell, the integrated services, the ISE. It's a little bit more powerful than the Windows PowerShell. So open that one up right here. All right. And let's just wait for it to open up. Okay, it's still loading, and you'll know that it's completely loaded up when we get the menu that's on the right, because that will help us load up everything else that we need. I mean, with commands, if we don't remember any of the commands. There you go. So all of these commands are there for you to use. So let's right click on the desktop where it's open, and let's pin it to the desktop. So in case we ever are going to need it again, we don't have to go to the start menu. So let's pin it to the taskbar. All right, so leave that open, and let's open up the Active Directory users and computers, which is right next to it, right here, because we want to see when we type in the command, we want to prove that it's been created. So by going into the users and computers, we'll be able to see it. All right, so there's our users. Okay, just you can minimize that for now. All right, so the first command we are going to use is we're going to create an organizational unit called human resources. So type the command new dash ADO. See, the menu comes up. So if you use the bottom arrow, the arrow down, and hit the tab key, and it will complete the command for you. Space. So you want to add an organizational unit, open quotes, and whatever you type in there will be that organizational unit. So let's type human resources. Now, make sure you're spelling it correctly. And I'm talking about case sensitive and all of that as well, because that's what it's going to be. Hit enter. And let's wait till the command is executed. So it's going in the background, so it's executing it. And it looks like it did it. So let's go back now to users and computers. We need to hit the refresh sign. So right click. Actually, you can right click on the XYZ and refresh. And you see that you got human resources right there. All right, so take a picture of that. Take a screenshot and put it at the bottom of your lab. All right, let's go back to PowerShell. Now we're going to create a user. So type. Now be very careful, and I'm going to be typing it slowly because you cannot do misspelling. Misspelling is going to create a problem for you. NEW new dash ADU. Okay, so add users comes up. So that's why we like the ISC, the integrated services. It helps us do the commands. Hit the tab key. All right, put a space. So new add users. And I'm going to open quote. I'm going to call this user just a manager. Close the quote. Right, with a capital M. Space. Now we want to give him a name. Dash. Oops. Dash given. Oops. Okay, now it's freezing up. Okay, there we go. Dash. Given. Here we go. Dash. Given name. Hit the tab key. Space. And we're going to name him. His name is Jason. Close the quote. Space. Dash. Surname, his last name, space. Voorhees. Voorhees. This is Jason from Friday the 13th, right? He's the HR manager, it's going to be. All right. So put a space. His display name. Display name is going to be HR manager. So open quotes, HR space manager. Close the quote, space. Now, where is it going to be located? So dash path, space, open quote. He's going to be, we're going to put him under the organizational unit, OU, equal to human. Don't forget, human is with a capital H. Resources. All right, so OU equal to human resources. If you put a space between the equal sign and the H, that's fine. Put a comma, space, and it's going to be under domain component DC equal to XYZ, right? Comma, space, another domain component equal to local. Close the quote, right? So it's gonna, we want to put this name, this user under human resources, which is located under the XYZ.local. So always at the end, you write in DC XYZ, DC local. You know, the XYZ.local. You have to separate them by DC XYZ and DC.local. All right, hit enter. All right, let's go and verify that this user have been added. So I go back to users and computers. I open up the human resources. And there's your manager. And you can see that this arrow going down, that manager, the name manager has been, the arrow is down. That means the account is disabled. All right, beautiful. Now we need to set the password for him. He doesn't even have a password. So let's go back to the PowerShell. And we are going to do set dash AD account account. Let's go down to password using the arrow, hit the tab key, space, and put a quote, and we want it for manager. We want to set the password for this manager. Hit enter. All right, now don't write anything because remember the original password, there was no password, so it was empty. So that's what they're asking you. What is the current password? It's nothing. So leave this empty and just hit enter. Don't type anything in here. Now they're asking, okay, so what's the new password? Type welcome1 with a capital W. Welcome1. Hit enter. Do it again. Welcome1 again. Welcome1. And now your password has been set. Welcome1. Welcome1. Okay, so there you go. All right, so now the password has been set. Now we are going to enable the account. So type enable, so that arrow is removed. Enable dash ADA, enable account, hit the tab key, space for the user manager. And enter. All right, let's go and find it, double check. And right click in here and refresh. And it's been removed. Take a picture. Take a screenshot and put it at the bottom of the lab. All right, let's go back to the PowerShell. Now what we're going to do is we are going to create a group. So let's see if we know how to create a group. So type in new dash ADA group. There you go. Add group space. Open quote. And let's call the group administrators. Close the quote with a capital A. Remember, spelling counts. Space. Where are you going to put this group? Dash path. So dash path says, open quotes, I want to put them under the organizational unit equal to, remember you open quotes, OU equal to human resources, comma, space, DC. DC stands for domain component, not domain controller in this case, okay? DC equal to XYZ, comma, DC equal to local. Close the quote. All right, put a space, dash, and the group scope. So go down, we want the group scope to be global. So choose global, put a space, and we want the category to be security. So dash, group category, space, security, not for distribution. That's why we're creating it. And hit enter. All right, let's go and find out. Oh, we made a mistake. So it says the local group has been, all right. It looks like that the administrator group has been created, by default. So let's try to change the group name to admin instead of administrator. So hit the upper arrow key to repeat the command. And with the left arrow, go all the way down and change the administrators to admin, just like that. Leave everything else the same, hit enter. And now it takes it, right? Let's go verify that the group has been added. So I right click in here and I hit refresh. And there is the admin group. Excellent. Let's go back to PowerShell. Now what we're going to do is we want to add a group member into this admin, right? So type add dash ADG group member. There you go, space, and open quote, admin. So we want to the admin, admin group, put a space, and we want to put dash members, okay? Open quote, who do we want to put in there? Manager, right? So if you hit enter, so now manager is part of the group. So let's take a look. Go in there, double click on managers, and go to members. Where is members? This is member of, we don't need that. So what you right click on them and you should be a member of the group. You're supposed to be clicking on admin, not managers. So click on admin group and click on members, and there is manager. He's in there, right? Take a screenshot of that and put it at the bottom. All right, so now you know how to create groups, add members to them. You know how to create organizational units and so on, all with PowerShell commands. All right, after you take your screenshot, now we're going to remove all of this, remove the group and remove the human resources. We're going to reverse all of this and see how we can do all of that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the admin group. By the way, when you move the admin group, the user doesn't get removed, of course, right? He stays there. And then we're going to remove the name manager, and then we're going to get rid of the human resources organizational unit. And we'll see how we're going to do that. All right, so let's go back in here, and we are going to say remove dash AD group, space, colon, admin, close the quotes, not colon. All right, say yes to all. All right, so let's now remove dash AD user, and we want to remove, open quotes, manager. All right, yes to all. He's been removed. All right, now let's try to remove, let's go back and let's refresh, verify they've been removed. There you go, they're all gone. Now we're going to remove the human resources organizational unit. So let's go back to PowerShell, and we are going to say remove dash AD organizational units, hit the tab key, space, quote, open quotes, and the organizational unit is located, OU equal to human resources, and this human resources organizational unit is under DC equal to XYZ, comma, under DC equal to local, close the quote. We want to remove this human resources, and you hit enter. You say yes to all, and we're getting an error. This error says you cannot remove access denied. You see, you cannot remove an organizational unit because it has that, you're not allowed to do it because of the accidental deletion, right? Remember that check? Take a picture of this, that you got that error. That's good. So now we're going to remove that check that that's preventing us from removing this organizational unit. The checking the box where it says remove the, I'll show you. So if you go to in here, go to view and go to advanced features. All right, double click on the human resource, right click on the human resources, go to its properties and go to its object. You see this check? We have to remove this check first. That protects the object from accidental deletion. Okay? So let's remove this checkbox using the command prompt at PowerShell, and then we'll be able to remove it. All right, so let's go back into the PowerShell. Remember, take the screenshot showing that you cannot remove it. So let's do set dash add organizational unit space. We got to put the path, open quotes, OU equal to human resources, comma, DC equal to XYZ, comma, DC equal to local, close the quotes, space, dash, right, protected from accidental deletion, put a space. If you put the number 0, that means you want it unchecked. If you put 1, that means you want it checked. So hit the enter key. There you go. So now that check is removed. And now if you hit the upper arrow key once, twice, it's going back to the history of the commands. And so you come up to remove the organizational unit and hit enter and say yes to all. And now the human resources should be removed. Let's go back in here and we are going to right click on the XYZ and hit refresh. And the human resources is gone. So go to view, uncheck the advanced features, and there is no human resources as if we have done nothing. Take a snapshot and put it at the bottom of your lab. And that's it for this lab. So now you know how to use the PowerShell commands to help you manage the Active Directory, the domain controller. Now you can create organizational units and then groups and users, even set passwords, remove them, and so on. All right, I'll see you on the next class activity.